Second map, Nova, TYLOO. TYLOO running the sort of Billy comp with the Cypher and the Viper. 9body on Raze. And double duelist actually from Nova. Panghang and Guan are gonna go in at it together, but solo initiate Sky on both sides, Viper on both sides. And whilst this is Nova's map pick, TYLOO have chosen to defend first. Interesting Viper wall to sort of cut across the site, heaven, male, and mid. And then you've got a Cypher trip to just go across here, as well as a camera in the usual spot. Which, yeah, not a bad hold. I suppose if you get pushed mid here, it's going to force this Viper into like a lot of awkward spots. Skydog didn't actually hit the trip. I think it might have done, actually. I heard a voice line, so it was probably for that. Oh, they brought the camera. I think that was it. But yeah, you've got this like kill trip right across the ground on the default plant. Can be jumped over. Actually, can it be jumped over? Because like it is on a step. Never really thought about it that way. Regardless, it's broken, so it's not really a factor. TYLOO, just checking if they have mid control. Should be like a pretty decent attempt at a retake here. But usually when the plant goes down on B, it stays planted. Especially if TYLOO are going to peek like that. 3 people are facing. Yeah, this is not an ideal round from TYLOO. Did Nova win both the pistols on Ascent? I think they might have done. Still got a little bit close in the end, but that was just a bad attempt of a retake from TYLOO, and then Nova making 5v3 situations. Maybe it was a 5v2 actually. Well, 4v2. And luckily no damage was done to Panghang, but like, I think it got a little bit closer than it maybe should have done. What is this guy's name? Which one? This is just HFMI. Just HFMI. And also Guan just got absolutely owned. At least 9body's been hit. Both teams do have the Sky, so a heal's going to come in. But awkward place for the Sky 2B2 heal, so actually not. Cypher camera up top high. And AK can't. He has a trip in hand, but because they're on an eco, they're just going to save the utility. Because playing Cypher is expensive on a lot of rounds, especially on defense on this map. You call him Password Bro in the team? Of course they do. It's like a Wi-Fi name as well. I imagine HFMI as a name actually would win as a good password. Like the strength of it. Another like TYLOO trash stack on defense, similar to Ascent, stacking on A. And then just Lao King over on B alone. Execute's coming in, stay by to sort of clear if there's anybody on default spot. And Lao King just takes a peek on his own. Even though time is getting fairly low, that's how he decides to peek. I think the thing that TYLOO's missing the most is just when they push out together and just deathball. Like, there's one player peeking that corner without any help. And this is a team that has only made like one roster move, so I would have assumed that like TYLOO would be better at playing off of each other. And then also just a little bit like discipline. Like, you're in a 1 versus, what, 4 there? I think it was. Like doing damage is good, but also not giving him ult orbs on attack is good. So maybe just trying to like hide and die to the spike.
而且确实感觉 Nova 的这个主选图是自己完全有练过的，这个进攻确实是不疾不徐，打得很有章法。
I feel I'm gonna be left scratching my head watching TYLOO and Nova here.
有枪械优势，他们知道该架枪的时候，对方小枪的时候就可以在原地架枪。那这一波是不是要打提速？
Got a full buy now, a lot of half armor.
更好交战。川宝已经拿到了全
And then just the trip that goes across here. Camera in heaven. Oh, AAK could literally only afford the one trip. Don't know if you put any cages down, but you've gone back to the normal Viper wall. Just a very normal setup. Although mid has been completely left here. Like, it really doesn't look like TYLOO. Like, TYLOO have no idea if there's anything happening mid now. They're just sort of playing off this box and playing for heaven. It's Ice King as well, the IGL that's on the Viper. You got a player pushing alone here. You got a player watching where the camera would be with the Cypher. And then B execute. A lot of damage at least done. The State Bite even takes out Panghang. Seekers is used. Ice King, is he going to just peek out of heaven? Well, the duels have been winning out by the better guns. And that was actually fairly easy for TYLOO to deal with.
而 Nova 在小枪的时候，在这种远距离交火上确实占不了便宜，并没有选择一波提速进点。
哦，这一波 S King， 就像我们在宏观上看到的一样，队伍也意识到了，或者是他意识到了，说二楼是一个漏洞，B 二楼是一个很明显的漏洞，要立刻有人去补。然后随后他人到技能到，然后完成这一波的防守。而且他知道自己这个时间。
I should stop being so negative. I think it's very easy when you've got these kind of games happening. I think it's fun to troll on silly moments like the way that the last map ended. But for me, this is just, you know, a bit sad to watch. Team Flash. At least like good fights coming in from Nova, but a little bit whiffy, really whiffy actually from HFMI. And Lao King saving.
这一回合的突然提速确实让天路可能第一时间没有意识到，对，尤其是 AAK， 他应该是监控没有。
Interesting choice to smoke on B, I guess, to just try to like isolate angles and not get caught here. Skydog is going to go chase. If they find him in stairs, it's done. He's not going to be able to keep that gun. We get him straight away, and it's a flawless from Nova.
这个低打高的预瞄也是非常的熟练。 直接 Loki 也没有能够保他这个枪，那下一次的战术储备就要来到天路这边了，在防守方的存钱。
Is Olingo the IGL for Nova? He is, yeah.
他们带来一些收益吗？就像刚才奈巴蒂在 B 大外的那一发。
我觉得现在有可能，就是如果天路
You've got Guan just watching for the lurk too.
放的一个防守的态势的话，你两边必须要压住，你的边路必须要出击。
对。
否则你中路又放，两边又放，你其实对外面的世界一无所知。
等到对方一波技能进点。
How do you pronounce the name? It's Olingo.
还是说你要中路硬控呢？我们看到还是一个中路非常退守的方式。
Because it's O, 0 in Mandarin, and O, Olingo. At least that's what the casters are calling them, but I don't think they know for certain either. I thought it was just ooh, not quite, I don't think. One just walks out and gets two. Pretty clean. One wick is back. What's likely to be the... So whoever wins this would have to play up against Tech or Trace for the qualifying game, which is tomorrow, and it's actually going to be a sick game. Wolves versus EDG. you got Tech versus DRG, and then you've got Trace versus FPX. But like, who's qualifying into like the playoff games? Even play-ins could be really exciting, just to see where these teams actually lay. Because you could have like Wolves in there, you could have DRG or Tech in there, and then like FPX or Trace. Like the play-ins level for Pacific was like pretty middling, even as a Team Secret fan. Like I thought like all those teams, but like you've got some like actual contenders there. Tech, Wolves, and Trace FPX especially. But I am underrating DRG a little bit. Alright, so now an eco is forced out from TYLOO, just because Nova have been absolutely like farming to begin with. 1 away from Viper's Pit, 1 away from Bladestorm, 2 away from Seekers. People are just, yeah, like running around in the middle of the like rounds before anything's happened. Much damage done. 2 versus 4. Ulingo is fairly low. Are they going to peek this one at a time? Yeah, Ice King's just going to peek out CT alone. And HFMI is just not in a position to like help him. He has to take his own fight. Some of the discipline has gone out the window, I think, for TYLOO, but I don't know if that discipline was there in the first place. Oh, he even satchels into the back of his teammate, but somehow that still gets the kill. Oh, sorry, Jet dashes into the back of the Raze that was satcheling. In this time, I'm gonna get a drink. I'm also gonna put my standing desk up and my shoes on. I need to like stretch a little bit. So yeah, 1 second whilst this is going on. It's the same girl that looked very confused in the last game. No reaction this time.
因为期望是不一样，就像我们说，大家对于 Nova 的期望是，大家会默认说 ，OK， 这支队伍其实在整个 C1联赛就有可能是一个很难到中游的队伍，大家对他们纸面实力的一个认知，而大家对天路的认知一直是，你应该去兑现你的纸面实力，你过去打出的高光在什么地方，所以这个心理压力是完全不一样的。
纵然他们今天其实解决了之前非常多的失误，但是
Nova
一直在给他们出考题，包括这张霓虹钉也是的。
Like I was like just melting into my chair a little bit watching this. Is TYLOO for real losing to Nova right now? Yeah, I think for a fact Nova, like objectively, Nova have been the better team in this series. Which is a pleasant surprise. I heard that the scrimbooks for Nova were good, but I expected a lot more out of TYLOO.
但他们现在要做的前期，其实把这2根半线给摸掉也是不错的收益啊。
Another good or a TYLOO abysmal? These are both like. I would rate them as Nova as the DFM, and TYLOO is like probably like global talent level, right? Sort of expect them not to do much, but they could surprise like Talent did. So this feels very. Global Esports versus Bleed, I'd say. This is like if Global Esports and Bleed played against each other. No, this is like Global Esports playing against DFM and DFM being a better team. That's the like comparison I would make. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, that's... Like, I'm probably wrong with it, but that's just to give context of where these teams are, but TYLOO's like biting back a little bit more. Spike is left in the site, the Viper's Pit has been like good to make this an awkward execute for Nova. Obi-Wan, is he actually going to clutch this out? He's seen the barrel for 9body, he knows that 9body is there. So he's like, HFMI, help me, help me. Never mind, I don't need the help. He didn't even take any damage actually, because Obi-Wan was like trying to move whilst looking at the angle. Is that the first kill? Or was that the second kill that came in?
虽然说这一分他们不是一个回防 A 的态势，甚至 B 点其实也不是一个完全的回防。
This series has the same problem that Global Esports and Bleed had, is that Global Esports were like a better team than Bleed, yet the game was still competitive. Like Nova like had 17 first kills in that, like 17 to 7 on first kills, and it was still a 13-11 scoreline. Like they are finding the initial advantage and then still finding ways to lose the round. And now you've got one on the attack with an op. It's double duelists, so it's fine. Viper Waller goes across ramp into mid, and then the poison cloud that's a little bit deeper. A lot of like just mid space giving up from TYLOO. They just don't care about fighting this, which so many other teams would often try to. And clearly Nova aren't aware just how little we're seeing TYLOO play for mid, because they are being very like slow about this, and so it kind of leans towards TYLOO. They're not bothering with the space, yet Nova has still been very careful with how they're taking it. So it just ends up in this, like, a minute has been burnt and nothing has happened. Like, if Nova have a timeout, I'd want to see him, like, afterwards, you know, satcheling this, boomboarding it, like, make noise to try and take mid. And force, like, TYLOO to do something, because right now they're just in their defensive defaults. Nobody's had to adjust. It means that fights like this end up being fairly easy. One just fully flashed no-scope kill the HFMI. And Ninebody might be getting an ace here. Never mind, AAK takes it off of him. Alright, this has been a really good map for Ninebody at least. Nova would still slap DFM, no? I don't know about that. Thanks for covering VCT China, man. Your content is great for the interesting newcomers like me. Thank you. Like, that's what I like him to do. It's a lot of fun to cover. I really enjoyed watching it last year, and if there was an English broadcast, I would have loved to have worked it, obviously. But because there isn't, I'm still kind of happy to watch by it. Timeout from Nova. Probably a good timeout, I think. TYLOO are like starting to warm up to this a bit more. And these kind of like mid splits are just not it from Nova so far. We'll see how this fares. So Paper X, first team to qualify for Madrid, right? And then now it's Putty 1, man. Like, they look so good. So now it's DRX versus Gen.G. That's likely going to be Paper X and DRX going. I watched all of the China pre-champs last year, and I've never been as invested as I am right now. A lot because of your streams, to be honest. Thank you. I guess for me, the only thing I was concerned about is like the imposter syndrome setting in a bit, where like my assessment of teams from China like was wrong. So like having people say I watched a lot of China, and like to be honest, I like agree with a lot of what you say, is reassuring to say the least. I don't mind like coming out with some hot takes and being wrong, but I get the basic stuff wrong about the region, and what chance do I have? Raise Nade is good to break that trip if it's close. The showstopper, like Pang, has gone down to fairly low HP from taking damage and then going through the Viper Wall. And now the Snakebite as well. That Snakebite actually that came in from Ice King is really nice, because Pang is like, I'm not pushing that. So he just uses the showstopper and gets nothing. So TYLOO have actually like dealt with this pretty nicely. Also, Nova taking a timeout. Okay, this is also a very interesting Viper's Pit, because you got the post plant here. Saw something similar from Americas, right? I can't remember which team did it. It's a good ult. Yo, Guan just on the other side of plant pot. It does get cleared, and Pang's just going to spray and get free. And the Viper's Pit has gone down, but there's no time. I was going to say, like, Nova, they called a timeout, and they probably did the most obvious, like, play in the book with, like, the showstopper going for an A execute. And it seemed that TYLOO was, like, aware of it, right? Because Nova call a timeout because there's things that they have to fix, and they're talking about, okay, what do we do in this next round? For TYLOO, it's what ultimates do they have? What are they likely going to be trying to set up here? oh, they got a showstopper, they're probably going to go for an execute. So they had a lot of people set up here. It still managed to lose.
而且刚好对面没有什么特别快速的回防的终极技能。
用终极技能拿到了第6分。
HFMI's stonks have like plummeted with how some of these series have gone. Oh, it just got a lot worse. Didn't expect Pang to just run up the way that he did. Sees the trip that's meant to catch maybe the satchel up to heaven. Good idea. Maybe Nova are at least aware of it now a bit more. Pang control here, but it's given a lot of space on Ram. So maybe there's like a timing Obi-Wan can get here onto Ice King. In fact, they're going to fight each other in the main choke, and Obi-Wan just kind of looked like he wasn't expecting it. Skydog actually just gets the kill onto Ice King because he was so low anyway. And now 9body. Save, no? No. Panhang used the showstopper in the last round before this, and he's one away from having another one. Will Nova favor pre-match? No. Well, maybe. Like, pre-tournament, no. Pre-map, it looked a little bit better against FPX than TYLOO did against Trace. Like, if you use the command like exclamation point China Pick'em, CN Pick'em, I think it is. Like, they were my pick'ems for the tournament, and they're generally like how the team's sort of rated pre-tournament. So I had TYLOO winning this series over Nova, but I don't think that's too much on the cards now. What do you think about Genji picking up Karen? I mean, a fantastic pickup. He's been great. It's nice to see, like, tier 1 teams do trials and find sort of unappreciated players. There's a lot of them in the scene. Can't go off just household names alone. This is the year of the rookies, it feels like, right? Some of the players that we've seen. Alright, TYLOO are like clearing this up. Granted, they are on like pretty much a full eco. They had 1 rifle. Now the showstopper is going to be used on the defense. Not really needed because CB gets the kill there, but obviously TYLOO don't know that. And now in a 2 versus 5, Olingo decides to try and like push. Buys a lot of time at least, and he's still going to try and fight this a bit more. Oh, he's even got a poison cloud. Like, to the point where everybody else is just going to like make noise to rotate away. There's still 1 player here, so like Ice King, you don't want to die here if you can help it. The smoke's going to come in to cut off this. You got the boom bot, and he's just sprayed for the smoke and got 2. Right, they got to expect Olingo here, surely. Ended up being a nice little double peek. And AK trades him. So that is Nova losing to pretty much a clear eco. Not great, right? Like, it's a little bit... Yeah, I don't know if that rifle Ice King had was one from that first fight. But it was good, like, aggression in B main. Really caught Nova by surprise. It is the relatively like unknown players on this roster. Like CB and Pang had a horrible first series against FPX. It was mostly like Guang, Obi-Wan, and Olingo that I think impressed. So the other 2 players on Nova having a map and kind of a series that they're like looking a little bit stronger on, I think is like a really good look for them, to be honest. Viper's Pit used on B. Last time TYLOO used it, it's pretty much how they got into a position where they've like started to mount a bit of a comeback. The last round of the half, so you've got Showstopper, you've got Seekers. And are they having the duelists fake towards B? Whilst everybody else goes A? Hard defense to break from Nova. With the Cypher on one side. Showstopper's going to be used onto B. Paranoia actually is really clutch in the end from Lao King. But it's pulled that rotation. The problem is, you're going to the site where the Cypher is. So 1 trip goes off, I think. And AAK is just going to try and peek through the smoke. 1 over on the lurks. It's a 3 versus 5. 2 versus 5. 1 versus 5. AAK clears up the rest. Better like macro, I think, from TYLOO, but I don't really like the way the Nova's been played like the attack side. Like, mid has just been a non-factor from them. Neither team using it effectively. So it was just like straight A, straight B executes. Feels like it's missing a lot. I feel so like doom and gloom on this series. I don't know why. Should be fun. Good to see these guys playing for their life, and like we're seeing some good stuff. Our teams used the light machine gun. It's TYLOO, yeah. It's funny that AAK went from playing Jet in the last series to playing Cypher. I guess he moves on to the second duelist when they play double duelist, I suppose. Neither team is really that exciting, to be honest. There's none of that usual crazy stuff going on. Yeah, maybe it's just not a hype game, really. Because we are like looking at like two D-tier level teams, I think is where I put both of them. Personal opinion, I rate AAK as a duelist mono 9 body. I mean, both of them have been good here. Seeing Sentinels being able to rotate over and do duelist well, it isn't that much of a surprise, I don't think. Because both require you to just be like aim machines. Another 5-7 half in favor of Nova, but I mean, even Ascent got close, I think, on the timing. Clash of the D-tiers, yeah. I don't know if this is necessarily the toilet bowl of VCT China. I don't know if it's that bad. Maybe like TYLOO versus AG would be more like it, because Nova's looking a little bit better than people maybe anticipated. How goes your play-by-play training? I mean, I'm losing my voice day by day, so not the best, but still, like, not too shabby. TYLOO on the attack now. They've got the Viper wall over towards B, with the old, like, Nats wall. Big Billy kind of had this set up a little bit more. Problem, obviously, with playing the Viper and the Cypher all on one site is that you just kind of have the lurk players stepping on each other's toes towards A. Because you'd usually do that Viper wall that would go across here. And then you'd have the Cypher cages and stuff to do too. But considering there's no Cypher, this should be free real estate really for TYLOO to keep pushing against Nova. It means that Olingo has to play it on his own. Here's a lot of noise over towards ramp. And some steps sort of going back. The spike is still towards B, so there's that chance that B execute could come in. Nova have been pulled in this direction. Playing up mid, playing 2 from vent. Wait for the Viper wall. AAK peeks first. Good trade's a good hold from Nova on his defense. But yeah, the spike is going the other side. Skyflash is good onto Obi-Wan. It gets him completely. And yeah, Sorry, it gets onto Lao King. Obi-Wan tried to go for the fight and then just gets traded out, and somehow Nova have lost this. Which I feel is something that I'm like consistently saying. Another 5 versus 3 potentially. Oh, and thank God, like, Olingo saves it, because that was a little bit closer than it needed to be. Which again, I feel is something that I'm just repeating.
而 Nova 完全不慌，就是在我的独木后面架枪，而且 B 点。
Do we know now how Olingo is spoken? The casters are calling him Olingo. And I would have imagined now that we've seen Nova play once that the casters would have gone and asked Nova or asked him himself how to pronounce his name. Olingo? Yeah, like because it's O-0-O. And Ling is 0 in Chinese, in Mandarin. I need to stop saying in Chinese because obviously... Lao King's gone down, gets traded out by Obi-Wan. That's a crazy peek from Pang, but I mean, if there's a player that's been getting away with a lot of those kind of like moments, it's been him. They're fairly clear like anti-eco and the flawless. Noted. It could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what we came to the inclusion of. Ling is 0, Sauce, I'm Chinese. Yeah, I have no doubt, but whether that's how you say such a silly name. I would love to see him at an international event, to be honest, just to see, like, people be like, what is this username, you know? Skyflash to get some information. I think it does hit onto AAK. Yeah. See if we get that kind of clutch at that level if his name is said that loudly. TYLOO now on the anti-bonus. Pretty good guns, I suppose, for Nova to be holding on to. And I mean, this wall is keeping Obi-Wan over here the whole time. Gonna PK from the sky. Sky flash over the top, so it gets information, I think. She is rotating away just to see if there's anybody like maybe looking through vents. Now that execute is coming in. And in this spot should mostly be cleared. This smoke is pretty good now where like there's so much pressure now that goes onto where CB is playing from. They should, somebody's got to clear him. And then Olingo just peeks out from this smoke and CT and nobody's watching that either. Low time again. AK is going for a peek. Gets traded. Now the spike is left right out in the open. And Lao King almost clutching out. Was map 1 silly? It was pretty uneventful, I think, until the last round was a sent. Kind of like it is now, where it's okay. Not really what you want to see, I suppose, at like this level of Valorant. But it wasn't like every round was silly. This is just looking very dominant from Nova now. Because that was their bonus. So now an eco's needed, and Nova can keep this momentum going to make it 11. You put the Omen one way and the Viper Orb up at the same time on defense. And then Olingo just gets... Like, are the players talking to each other? The B-Wall just forcing them to sort of play here. The B-Wall might actually kind of make it awkward for TYLOO now. I guess they could drop at the time, and this is Nova probably losing another eco. Or losing 2 another eco, should I say. I mean, it's honestly pretty clean, everything from TYLOO. At least the aim is there. But I just don't know what Nova were trying to do on mid. Also, this Viper Wall.
我觉得这一分对于天路来说，还是那句话，你可以去觉得天路的打法很干燥，但他们的枪法确实也有些时候是让他们有这种错觉的原因。
Why would you not just do the usual one?
战术监控已经看到这个信息。
视角的不怕穿鞋的暗夜眼道，光很慌，亮枪了。
Guan's just trying to save the operator but can't. How to pronounce Guy's name? You've got HFMI for TYLOO, and then you've got CB for Nova. He likes it when casters can remember his full name. We're gonna have to learn it then. I'm not calling him his whole name. 0DZJC9Z7. It's got like all of the orgs in there, I guess. C9 has appeared. HDMI, yeah. And the pressure is in, the wall is up, Sky Flash. Nova still have a bye despite losing against an eco from TYLOO. I just don't think that the solo initiator Sky is enough on this map anymore. And there's an attack up for AAK that just gets a kill onto OB1. There wasn't even like pressured out to be playing from here with the wall like he has been. Alright, Guan gets a good one. He sees the spike too. The rest of the team can maybe rotate. I guess they're watching to see if there's anybody else here after losing one. But the Viper's pit still in mid. You've got a player in vent and one CT. It's a 4v4 with 40 seconds left though. So see how Nova do. One hiding behind the plant pot. Doesn't have to dodge a Sky Flash. Just doesn't want to get spotted by the showstopper. He gets traded at least, and then CB tries to peek out from heaven, and that time people are looking at it, which is nice. And even Lao King actually going up into heaven in the smoke is good position to be in. It's an important fight in the Nero theft. Oh, I was really worried he was going to just fluff it there. Olingo wanted to go for a fight, but just gets pinged out by Cypher ult just at the last second. He's done well here though to like isolate one. The camera spotted him now in A main. AAK where the operator gets to. Okay, Nova like starting to fall off a little bit now. They get E-codes, and then this round they get attack ops. And this was a 4v4 loss. Really clean from Ice King. Ice King and Lao King do good here. Alright, we definitely need a command for Olingo now. So many people asking how it's pronounced. Yeah, it's just Olingo. Five V5. A lot of damage has already been done to these players who are now on an eco. A bit of a push from aggression. It's going to be hard against the Cypher, however, just because of these trips. And they're pushing into that op still from AAK. Who's making the Cypher attack op actually work quite a lot. Guess he's just playing it like Chamber, but without the TP, without the ult. And CB is now just stuck, like especially with this lurk. This should get cleared. Nobody's clearing these like angles that you just are set up to fight for. Like, absolutely shouldn't be losing the player like that from TYLOO. Good position for Ice King to be in at least. The rest is clean. It's just that first kill. Just on this angle, just a little bit of lack of discipline. Because you have the timing of the lurk that could just go in on this player, or you could just have somebody just double check it more than anything. Because it kind of forces just TYLOO to, like, their aim is at least good enough where they can just react to these kind of things. Is that correct? I don't think people call him Oreo. I think it is just like Olingo. Olio. Unless somebody has said it recently. Somebody said it right at the start, and then that's all we kind of like heard from it. I think it's just like Olingo. Because somebody said it was Oreo initially, and then somebody corrected saying they're not saying Oreo, they're saying like Olingo. Anyway, Nova used their second timeout. Still got the lead. Basically been 2 rounds ahead the whole time. I think it's like the biggest, maybe 3 or 4 like right at the start, because Nova had a pretty good showing, and obviously they win the pistol and the bonus, so what would that have been, like 10-5 up? How does this compare to challenges in EMEA or Americas? I'd say that the top level of like EMEA or Americas in tier 2 is probably better than like this level of China. I'd love to see somebody like Apex or Oxygen play up against the likes of Edward Gaming and FBX to really see where they land, but at this point I just think that the discipline, the planning, the philosophies of Valorant is just a lot better in tier 2 of NA in Americas than it is here. But it's the rate that this is catching up. Maybe not this game in particular, but like the region as China as a whole. I always feel a little bit better when I've got the pen in hand. Skyflash is going to go into mid, so no information for Nova to work with yet. You've got this aggressive angle now with the operator. Some good ultimates for the defense to work with, but because they just had to eco, their money's not good and it's starting to build up for TYLOO. My body goes out just before like all of the flashes and utility comes in. There's Lao King using the paranoia. Seekers is going to be used. Even the line is just held, but it's a really nice poison cloud that's actually going to come up to here to block everything off. Olingo just having to back this off. That's brave peek, but he gets onto the right side now. And this is enough of a cue for TYLOO to mid-round call with 25 seconds left. That they're going to go to B, but they're actually going to go back, and they've absolutely duped Olingo on the Viper. He's still got the operator watching from elbow, so it's still going to be hard to break through this. 13 seconds left. CB's got enough time now. 6, 5, 4, no time. So Nova make it to 11. And AAK loses the op 2. Not as melons in that moment. Just good of Nova to like hold with the fast rotation to mid and then going back to A. But the operator is still in just the right spot. And also, naturally, CB just getting 2 there on the site too. Did I miss anything in this game? In this series, probably the only thing worth watching is the final round of Ascent. Everything else has just been like pretty meh, pretty bland. Could be a nice 2-0 for Nova though. But this has like descended a little bit into not as much of shit housery Valorant. I'd say on the scale of 1 to pure shit house, this is like a 5 or a 6. Who's expected to win? Probably TYLOO before the event started, but Nova have looked better in the event than TYLOO have thus far. Different setup now for TYLOO. It's their final timeout. Wall's going to go up on A. Good kind of pressure to put here, more of just like a defensive hold on B, which is good because Guan still does have the operator. Tried to go for a peek on B main and didn't get anything. And at least CB's been forced away, forced to use one of the flashes. HFMI also only having 1 flash left. And without that cooldown of these flashes coming back, it feels like that's one of the main reasons why like mid hasn't been fought over as much. both teams just don't have that utility anymore to keep fighting for it and keep hold of it. So Skydog's going to be used in mid, but it's not really going to find all too much. It's just an important lurk up here now, actually, from 9body.
就 9body 同样是一个人在走，反而是剩下的3个人抱团在了 B 大，还带着后能器。
没有位移，但这个瞬间就失误了。
40 seconds still. Fight has been found here. So they've got onto CB. Omen Ultimate's going to go backside. It's been held. Guan just didn't seem to really react to it. And Luo King not only gets Obi-Wan, but he sort of throws Guan off this angle and allows the rest of TYLOO in. Right, that's a nice kill. That's a bit of an odd clearance, I think, actually coming in from AAK, but Nero Theft is going to be used now to show where Olingo is. And you absolutely want to be saving here, no? I mean, I guess if you're just going to win fights like that. Oh, they're making it way too close. TYLOO, you can't lose this. He's even had to use the Viper's Pit. Oh, he's just spraying in the right spot. Ice King still has his snake bite though, so he might have actually just won this clutch off the ultimate being used. Even just spraying. He's pinging the wrong spot. He's right on this corner. He's right in this little pixel actually from Ice King. He's owned it on 10 HP, but it had no right being that close. And he still dies anyway. So basically, everybody's a loser. I mean, Nova botched this on defense, it feels like. He was going to use the Viper's Pit then, and it's like, nah, I don't really need to use it. We have this. And apparently not. Like, Olingo's going to be so upset that he lost that. You get the Viper's Pit out at least, so there's like a positive. But you're on an eco anyway. Could have been on 12, and then like that probably would have been maybe even an eco. Oh, TYLOO, no. Don't like the repeat there, even for the snake bite. And well, Nova are just sending it. They're brave. I mean, the Sky heal has actually come in massively clutch for these players because all of them got fairly low. Feels like Nova are really just trying to force it over the line when they just need to kind of keep their composure a bit. Alright, the rest of it though, fairly clean. We're gonna have another potential like 13-11 kind of round.
Nova 叫完战术暂停之后，确实拿到了第11分，但是他们距离12分还是度过了2分之后，没有能够成功拿下。而且防守方的经济确实
not quite ecoed.
他们必须要隔一分存一分，如果再连续掉分的话。
重甲的明居。
But I haven't really seen TYLOO look like super flawless, super clinical.
应该是胖豪发的。
Right? I don't think so.
Trying
to think if they had like a flawless round really on like a full buy. Might have done on like an execute on Ascent, I think, like the attacking side, but outside of that, hasn't really been too much to write home about, I think, for how TYLOO have been. Same could be said for Nova though. Operator still for Guan. He's over on 8. The Viper Wall is on B, so this is like a good setup for Nova to work with. Really depends on Obi-Wan, who was fantastic in his first series. And has been the first death quite a lot. And 9body just hopping along too much that Obi-Wan just almost pre-aims him jumping in the air. Boombot from Pang is good to actually clear this up, and this is looking like it's going to be 12 for TYLOO. There have been a couple of instances though where 5 versus 3s, 5 versus 2s have been lost or at least gone closer, but I don't know if this is one of those rounds. No ultimates, you got 2 smokes now online for Lao King, the TPs, and a Poison Cloud. And I guess they're just going to try and make some work around B because they have this Viper Waller. One of those ones that if TYLOO had the Viper's Pit now, maybe that round would have been a lot more clearer.
先脚步偏这边枪线，再拉，准备打双拉了，还是给烟，再往里走。
10 seconds left.
密啊，这个时候不安爆能器其实非常。
TYLOO starting to come under pressure again.
再打一个，但是第三个人
Some damage done, but that's about
这
it.
个伏笔就是欧林欧在这一分阵亡之后就有回复了，同样大概率会站中路展开，就隔绝你一路的包夹，你大概率只能从两侧发起进攻。
就这一发
主要是这一分拿完之后，他们拿到了赛点。
Oh, I wish I actually called that. That would have been so funny. Like TYLOO? Sideshow was watching this. He'd do that instantly, I know.
否则他们只能去等到第一赛段的常规赛再做打算了。10比12，
They weren't going to win that round.
手里面常规时间。
Nova have been a bit iffy. Alright, one Sky Flash used either side. 2 chances left for TYLOO to, like, bring us back into overtime, keep their chance alive, bring us to bind. Or at the very least, pick up a map in their kickoff tournament, because it's looking like it's going to be a 0-4 result for them on maps.
他想要听一下动静，可能在你两边发起进攻的时候再展开。田路还是想要 精英接触，拿一些首杀的机会。
哦，这边换了 Ice King 去单挂，让字母哥跟队友汇合，尤其是跟南宝里汇合，两个人可以打出一些更加有机的 combo。
Right now, 40 seconds or so has passed. The execute looking to be on the cards. The Viper wall is still over towards A, keeping the operator towards A at least too. And Ulingo has a Viper's Pit. That's why I think he's starting to peek towards the choke, because if this execute comes in, plugging it with a Viper's Pit would be nice, but not really looking to be in a set position. Obi-Wan is fully flashed. The Paranoia actually connects onto the dropping player. So what now? 3 versus 3. Hang is going to try and take a fight. 25 seconds left. There goes Leo King. 2 alive. Ak is on site. The late lurk from Ice King has managed to sneak in and get an opening. And now it's up to Guanwick in a 1 versus 2. He's going to spray. He's almost got enough. But a spike has been planted. And Ice King just caught napping for a second. Juan has dropped to low ground. He's 39 HP. Ak is 36. And AAK actually wins out the clutch. One more round again.
先搭了把手，然后 AAK 接了过去。
没错 ，Ice King 跟 AAK 两个人都是打出了关键的。
Feels like Nova kind of like fell into that one a bit. Like they peak as the Sky Flash comes in, and then who was it? It was Pang Hang that just dropped to the low ground as the Paranoia hit, so he was fully flashed too.
强行续了一口。
两张地图好像有似曾相识的局面。
Yeah, this game is close for all of the wrong reasons. But now with Nova, their buy is atrocious, but they have ultimates. Showstopper's going to be used from Pang Hang. The flash is good. It's great, actually, to stop that from going. But it doesn't matter. He's just going to push with the fucking Spectre and clear this up. And in a moment, AAK is in a 1 versus 5. The Seekers is going to find him too. I think they hear the steps as well because they're just in the bottom of mid. And they clear him. Alright, Nova. Pick up a win. This was like considered the worst team in the league, and they actually do make their way to like the deciding matches in their group. And they beat a TYLOO who people expected more out of. Very experienced team, looked good through evolution to an extent. But man, that's a disappointing way to go out, especially for like HFMI, who I think this is HFMI, but man, he couldn't look any more upset if he tried. Gone from like a lot of big success on attacking Soul to, yeah, it is HFMI, to bottoming out against a team that nobody expected any results from. So that's not a good start from TYLOO. So Nova will be playing up against Trace or FPX in the deciding game, which feels like it's going to be a bit one-sided. Wasn't necessarily impressed with stuff that I saw from Nova today, but they were the better team. And that's one of the teams already sent home for China, but maybe not the one that we expected. So yeah, not too bad from Nova, all things considered, but like rough series from both.